Well, howdy, y'all. This is how I made seat covers for my truck using a drop cloth and absolutely no sewing at all. Working on Turtle, my 62 C10 panel truck. These seats came out of a 2003 Silverado work truck. Now look how crazy this seat is. Had to have this side hump for the seat belt retractor. Also has headrests. This is my criteria. Be comfortable. Be able to handle regular use. Fit the vibe of the truck. Be affordable. I can make myself. And don't have to sew. For the material, I decided to go with canvas, as in canvas drop cloth from Harbor Freight. They are cheap, and after a washing, they are surprisingly soft. So the comfortable and affordable boxes are checked. I didn't like the light beige color of the drop cloth, so I got some dark green fabric dye from Walmart. So after dyeing the fabric in the washer, running through the dryer, the color came out pretty good to me. Not flashy, kind of a common utility look. Making the pattern. I decided to just drape the material over the seat, use a fabric pin to mark the outline, making sure to bring edges in enough to have room to make taut. I also use clips to hold in place to get the form. There was a lot of putting on and taking off to trim, and reinstalling and unreinstalling and reinstalling to get it close. When cutting the material, allow about 3/4 of an inch to fold over for the hem. You also need to figure the gap you want to allow for when you pull the sides together, but you don't want them to touch. You will need to hem the edges. The material will start fraying almost as soon as you cut it. I use double-sided tape for most of the hemming. I would apply the tape the distance I needed to fold over from the edge. Use something to press the tape into the fabric. Peel off the backing piece with a thumbnail or something. Then fold the material over. Then press that fabric to the tape. To make the holes, the grommet kit I used has a tube with an edge on one side to put a hole in the material and a plastic piece. You place the cutting tube where you want the hole. Place the plastic piece underneath and hammer the cutter until it goes through, or most of the way through, and trim what you need. Don't place the hole too close to the edge of the grommet, or the grommet will hang off the edge of the material, and it would also be a weaker hold. To install the grommet, you'll have a piece that looks like a bearing attached to a big washer, and then another piece, a solid cylinder with a funny hat. The grommet consists of two pieces. One is just like a thin washer. The other is like the washer with the raised ridge in the center. Take the grommet with the ridge and put it on the washer piece with the ridge facing up. Place the whole of the material over the grommet. Place the flat grommet over the ridge. Position the cylinder with the hat side down in the center of the ridge of the grommet. Hammer until it bottoms out. And repeat this like 1,000 more times. Maybe less. Once you made the pattern for the driver's side, the passenger side will be exactly reversed. That is if you have equal seats, not including the 60/40s or things like that. At the point where I had the pieces pretty well fitted, then I needed to make a cutout for the seatbelt. I decided to go with paracord. I cut several pieces about 2 feet long, probably 40 or more. To melt the ends, first I tried using a torch, but there was dripping and it was not very neat. So I had a dull oscillating saw blade that I clamped to the end of the flat steel, heated that with the torch, and it worked very well. Now wear thick gloves because the paracord becomes molten plastic that can burn a hole in standard gloves in an instant. Not that I did that, but that's just what I heard. For the lacing, I just went simple. I made 3 or so passes through the grommets and then tied behind the laces with a square knot in the back. The seat bottom was simpler. Tie the corners together. If possible, run the cord under the seat to the opposite side and tie it. I used S-hooks and or knots to hold the sides down to the seat frame. The headrest was more fit and trim, repeat. I don't think the tape would hold and didn't want grommets. I used glue. This part probably would have been better if I knew how to sew. How much did the materials cost me? So this is how I did my seats. Even though your seats are probably different, I believe the concepts can be adapted to most seats. The criteria I started with, I think, has been met. Not too bad for an extreme novice. So far I'm liking them. I'll let you know if it changes. Maybe.